Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. All right, it is time to pot up my Begonia Connie Boswell. This is a jointed, upright Rhizomatous Begonia. And as you can see, we have babies growing from the bottom of the petiole where the roots are, as well as from the top. I don't know if you can see it. Top surface of the leaf. So what I'm planning on doing is, excuse me, potting up the bottom portion into my acrylic medium because that's my favorite medium. And then I'm gonna replace this top portion back into water, raise the water level up so that I get roots right below where that new baby plant is. This way I will double my pleasure, double my garden. So I got myself some scissors. These are Colleen scissors. First thing I'm going to do, oh, by the way, first of all, I pre-moistened this acrylic, so it is damp already. It's hydrated. It's not going to float when I fill it. You'll see what I mean. But to start, I'm going to take out this baby. Okay. Wow, look at that. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little crowns growing from this one leaf stem. Look at that, the petiole. So cool. And then I have the one leaf, the one crown on the top surface of the leaf. Can you see it? Let me get a little closer so you can see it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, as I normally do, is I'm going to cut the stem like that. This portion will go back in here and I gotta refill that up with some water. So this will be, the water will increase all the way to, I want it to touch the bottom surface of the leaf. And this little baby, or these babies, look at these roots, it's so healthy. Beautiful red color, I love that. So these guys will be placed into the acrylic medium. So let's get started. I'm gonna make a mess on this table, but I don't care because I'm gonna clean it up afterwards. So I make a little opening. And by the way, this acrylic yarn has been repurposed. The great thing about acrylic yarn, even polyester, nylon, is you can reuse it. As long as you really clean it good, what I like to do is if I've had another plant in here, I will remove it from the pot, obviously. Put it in some really hot water in the sink, let it soak for a while, then kind of scrub it, add a little bit of soap. Yes, I add soap. And I scrub it until all the old roots are gone from the previous plant that was in here. And rinse it, soak it. It does not lose its consistency. It is exactly the same way that it was the first time I used it. And I can reuse it over and over and over again. That is the great part about this. Since it is inorganic, it is pretty much a plastic when you think about it. Yeah, so I like to reuse them. I'm not gonna throw them away just because I use them once. And by using really hot water and soaking it, it's kind of like sterilizing it. You can also use alcohol if you want. Just rinse it good so that no alcohol is left behind, no soap is left behind. Whatever it is that you use to sterilize, you don't want that to stay behind so that the next plant that goes in will get affected by it. So these roots are so healthy. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at them and I'm so excited because they just look so beautiful. All right, so let me get a little closer so you can see. Look at that, look at that. So I made a little opening in the acrylic yarn and I'm going to fit these roots all the way down, nice and snug. I'm going to pack in around the crown. I don't wanna cover the crown in any way, so all the growth points and the growing tips are opened and they can very easily continue to grow. This is kind of what it looks like. I want you to see it up close. You see that? Okay. So nothing will be hindered as it grows. Okay. Here are the bottom parts of the yarn. I put it into the vessel, which is Again, one of the, what do you call it? This is a plastic cup, but it's not one of those disposables. This is like a seasonal plastic if you have an outside bar. I know I keep saying that, but it's definitely worth looking into. And you can get these off-season at thrift stores and places like that. So anyway, there you go. We've got that part in there. Everything looks good. I'm going to now add just plain water for now. I will add some nutrient solution after a few days once this gets acclimated. I don't want to shock this plant because it could easily get shocked. It's moving from complete water submerged to something that has some oxygen flow in the acrylic yarn. Look at that. Good enough. I like to leave at least an inch of air so that as the water wicks up the bottom parts of the acrylic yarn, it can then grab some oxygen. Of course, it's not sealed here, so there is some sort of an air exchange, but this plant is going to do extremely well, as you can see it there. And next thing I'm going to do is take this puppy and put more water in. Let me add some water. Again, I'm not taking you with me because it's very quick. I don't need to. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up the leaf, fill this up, and what I want is for this a little more. Oh, there's something floating around in that water too. It looks like an old piece of a leaf. You know what? I don't want anything to rot, so this is a good practice to do. Empty it out completely. Okay. It's also good because you can get rid of any algae. There was a little bit of algae in this, and there's still some floating around, which is not a major deal. You can see some floating. Not a major deal, but I don't want too much algae in there because it's going to obviously compromise my cutting. And this leaf is still in really good shape, as you can see. Very little, just the very, very tips of only some of these points have dried up. So the plant, the leaf cutting is in good shape. Going to put it in here. There is still some room, so I'm going to add a little more water. There we go. Alrighty. So this, let me bring this close to you. You can see how close the water is. That's good enough. You don't have to have it all the way up flush against the bottom of the leaf because the moisture wicks up the petiole, the leaf stem. So there will be roots growing off of the base of the leaf into the water. I'll make sure that I keep it at that level. Okay. So I will get another plant out of this. I have about, what did I say, 4 or 5 crowns off of this. And I'm very excited because Connie Boswell is a beautiful cultivar. Again, it's very unusual because it's not a cane begonia. It's considered a rhizomatous begonia, but it's an upright, jointed rhizomatous begonia. So it looks like a cane, but it's considered rhizomatous, but it grows upright and it's got joints almost like the cane would appear. So I know, go figure, it makes no sense to me, but I'm just saying, you know, what it's considered. So there you go. There you have it. Connie Boswell. This is a beautiful, beautiful begonia. I am very excited because I have one plant of this, and this was a leaf. I said, all right, it's an older leaf. Let me take it. And by cutting this leaf off the mother plant, it kind of sparked it to grow some new growth, some new leaves. And I got new plants out of it. It's the best part of it. I love getting new plants. And from my history and my experimentation, I know that the acrylic yarn or polyester or, what is the other, polyester, acrylic, or nylon, they seem to do equally well. I mean, acrylic definitely works for sure, really, really well because I have most of my acrylic, most of my yarn is acrylic. So 100% acrylic. Just stay away from anything that's wool because since it's a protein, it's a hair from an animal, it definitely has a potential to rot and cause some issues. And since this is a plastic, acrylic is a plastic, so is nylon and polyester. It does not rot. It is inorganic. So there you have it. Very exciting. Look at this. I can't wait for this to grow. Put these under lights, and I'd say within the week, you'll start to see some noticeable growth. I'll put some drops of diluted hydroponic nutrient. This is going to use the Maxi Grow, which is specifically for growth, not for blooming, not even for vigor. It's just a high nitrogen hydroponic nutrient, which will let this leaf out really, really well, because I really don't want to deal with the flowers at this point. I just want lots of new leafy growth. So there you have it. Connie Boswell. I guess you can call this a, I don't want to say a semi-hydroponic, but it's a passive hydroponic setup using acrylic yarn. Begonia. This is a upright jointed Rhizomatous Begonia, Connie Boswell. And if you have any questions, just reach out, because I love talking about this. I could have used other mediums like perhaps sphagnum moss, but if you've been following me, you know that for me, the acrylic yarn works the best. Most of my propagations, if not all, most of them are in acrylic yarn, and they do extremely well. They're still doing well. And I always had issues with begonias before this until I figured this out through experimentation. So that's about it. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you in the next video.